have anywhere from 100 people to several hundred people at these events, and we help people overcome a lot of their limitations, their limiting beliefs, and their negativities, and all those different things, and help them succeed greater in life. Well, it was right around that time a friend of mine introduced me to an individual who was the number one Bitcoin miner in North America and had been for a couple of years or so. And when I met this guy, he asked me, he said, Steven, do you own any crypto? Do you have a crypto wallet? And I said, no, to either one of those. And, I had heard about Bitcoin. It had been kind of introduced to me a little bit, but I didn't really pay attention because I was so entrenched in real estate and personal development. I just didn't listen to it. And so anyway, I said no. He said, well, set one up. He sent me a link. I set up a wallet. He then sent me $100 worth of Bitcoin. And that $100 worth of Bitcoin is like a couple of cents probably for you and I, for him, because he had quite a bit of it. But anyway, he sent me $100 of Bitcoin. He just said, hey, I want you just to look at this. I want you to pay attention to it. Look at the markets. Follow what happens in the markets, and just start to learn. And I said, fantastic, I'll do that. In the meantime, I said, I'd love to hang around a little bit if you don't mind. I'd love to learn from you guys as much as I can. And I kind of worked my way in and became a trusted individual in this really small group of people. And it was tremendous. I got some Bitcoin when it was $3,700. If you look at Bitcoin today, and many here may not look at the price of Bitcoin very often, but I've got a little app on my phone. It's at 67,400 right now. So I got it at 3,700. It's at 67,400 right now. So that was my first experience in the crypto realm, and I realized that this is real. There's something here. It's not going anywhere. And soon after, we were approached. Me and this small group. Now I had kind of become one of the founding members or original people here. We were approached by a group that was big in the gaming world, and you mentioned that a little bit, Danny. Gala. Before it was Gala, this group came to us. They had built Zynga Games and had built that to 400 million users. Some of the core group of who took Zynga up to their IPO. I think it was like a $10 billion IPO. They left Zynga and were trying to now put games on the blockchain. So they came to us and said, hey, can we do this? And we said, yeah, we can do the blockchain side if you guys can take care of the gaming side. To make a long story really short, we launched that in July of 2019. People that ran and owned and ran their nodes were getting digital rewards daily distributed to them. Those rewards in the beginning were worth about this much. They were worth zero, right? There was no market value for them. But after about 18 months or so, maybe almost 2 years, they finally got on some decentralized exchanges first. More and more volume was going through because more and more people were playing the games, trying to get rewards in game, and they were doing it. And it just started to get a lot more notoriety. A lot more people's eyes were getting on it. A lot more players were playing these games and earning a digital reward for playing the game. And one thing led to another. It moved from some of the decentralized exchanges to third-tier exchanges and then first-tier exchanges. And it eventually got onto Binance and then Coinbase. And the token itself, the Gala token, went from when it first got on the exchanges at like 0.000151. It's like just a fraction of a penny. It went up to about 83.6 cents. And so at 83 that spread, by the way, from 0.000151 to 83.6 cents, that spread there, if you do the math, it's like over 500,000% growth. It was wild. And I don't say this, I mean, I say it sort of, I guess, to wow you. I want you to understand what's possible in the blockchain world, but it was real. And you can actually go on to CoinMarketCap. You can go into CoinGecko. You can look it up. It's all on the blockchain, so you don't have to believe me or anything. I love it when people, question things and want to say that things are false, because I don't again, it's not about trusting me. You can go on the blockchain. It's all there. You can see it. It's fantastic. So I got to experience some of that growth. Anyone who had owned and operated a node from the beginning of Gala, if they had sold their rewards at the peak, and these are a bunch of ifs, and I know this, so just go with me for a second. If they had purchased a node at the beginning, if they had run the entire time, and if they had sold at the peak of the market, if, right? If that had happened, they would have earned a little over $1 million per $1,000 node that they had purchased at the beginning, right? And everyone came in at different spots, and I get it, right? But man, it was truly a tremendous opportunity. I got to participate in that opportunity. I watched my accounts go from very low to very high in a very short amount of time, and I don't look at myself and think that I'm different or crazy or any different than anybody else. I just worked really hard. I believe when a lot of people didn't. I was willing to go all in on some things, and I'm not saying that anyone has to go all in, but I did, and my risk brought about a great reward. Right, and wherever there's great risk, there can be great reward, and sometimes you're out. Right, that's kind of the reality. Right, we don't. This is why we talk about at the very beginning. We don't guarantee anything, right? There's no earnings claims, there's no financial advice. We're just telling you some history. And what we've done now is we've taken what we learned at Gala and with the Gala project, which was really just a test run for us. We had built all this technology for green and for a number of other projects that we were launching or thinking about launching. And so Gala became a great test run. It was really tremendous. It ended up, it tested not only the software extremely well. We've had now billions of different transactions utilizing our software that we've created. But now we're taking what we've learned and we're applying it to a number of different industries. We are going after and seeking out problem solving, impact driven blockchain projects. That's what we're focused on. We mentioned a couple. We mentioned Switch. We mentioned Rlink. We mentioned Revo. Right. We mentioned a few of these different blockchain projects, and there's several others. But it's all about solving a problem and allowing individuals like you and I to participate in the solution. And if we are willing to do that, if we're willing to contribute through that proof of action by either running a node or doing some of those other actions, or better yet, putting running a node and doing some of those actions together, you can actually earn more in the daily distribution. Where in the beginning, it may not be worth much, but if we can do what we think we're going to do, right? If we can actually move these industries, solve some real problems, bring true utility to the table, then I think that there's a lot of opportunity there, right? And the time will tell, right? We have no crystal ball, but we think some really positive things can happen, and a lot of families can be positively impacted by it. So, um, you know, I get on here not because I have to, but because I love it. I truly love this. I grew up extremely poor, and I'm not alone in that. I remember when I was 8 years old, and I told Lori and Danny this earlier, but when I was 8 years old, 7 or 8 maybe, my father took me for the first time to go with him, and I kind of learned that a lot of the food that we put on our kitchen table was from grocery store dumpsters. And uh, so I understand hardship very, very well. That was most of my life growing up, and even through a lot of my adulthood, I struggled and struggled and struggled. And even in the real estate arena, and even in personal development, as an entrepreneur, the life of an entrepreneur isn't easy. A lot of people look at the success if it happens, and they say, "Oh, that guy is just successful." No, that success came after months, years of anguish, pain, tears, hardship. Having to combat weirdos like this Victor guy who came on here and started talking about a whole bunch of weird stuff. Like, I've been through all of it, and I've answered every single question, and I've gone through it all. And I'll tell you, I've what the blockchain can do is change people's lives for the better and allow you and I to participate in things that we would otherwise never have an opportunity to participate. Let me just tell you a really fast, quick story again. In the real estate arena, I had an opportunity. We had an opportunity to actually get in right when the market crashed in 2008. We were given an opportunity to bid on a tape of homes. Now it was 164 homes that were put together kind of all in the Midwest, and we got this opportunity to bid on these homes. Usually, to have that opportunity, you had to be like $100 million plus company. We were not. We were just barely getting started, but we knew somebody who knew the vice president of Fannie Mae, and so we got an opportunity that we otherwise would have never had the opportunity to play in that space. We ended up actually bidding on that 164 homes. We got it, and I will tell you, it was the worst thing that we could have ever done. It ended up horribly. Like, we lost a lot of money and time and energy on those 164 homes. But I'm bringing this up just to help you understand that opportunity. Although we thought it was great, we still would have never even had an opportunity to get into that game, to play that game, had we not been this big, big, big company. And even though we weren't, we had an in. Like, we knew somebody. Well, blockchain is leveling the playing field. blockchain is allowing now normal people like you and I, just your average individual, the opportunity to get in and to make a difference, to affect true change, to decentralize a centralized world. And all that really means is instead of it being run by a select few, like, by this top group of individuals or governments or whatever, it just means that we can all participate. And if it's done right, by the way, there's a lot of blockchain projects out there that aren't done right. They control everything. They hold your private keys. They say when or if you get your rewards or whatever. There's a lot of projects that have done that over the years, and a lot of people have a sour taste in their mouth, I think, about blockchain because of the scams that they've been through. One of the things I love about what we're doing here in this community is it's not that at all. These are fully decentralized projects, almost from the get go. Your rewards that you mine go to your non-custodial wallets, which means you're the only one that has access to them. Nobody can shut them down. Nobody can freeze them. Nobody can take it away from you. It's yours. And whatever those rewards do because of the market, you get to you get to go along with it. It's yours, right? You get to decide when, if, where you want to sell. If you don't, if you want to hold, you want to hodl. That's 100% up to you. And so I, this is one of those opportunities. I'm looking at the financial world, and we are entering into a massive shift in wealth. There's going to be a massive transfer of wealth that's already started. People are recognizing, they're realizing that they don't want to put their trust in what they used to put their trust in. They don't want to trust the big companies or the governments or whoever else to manage their money and resources. They want to take on that responsibility themselves, but they don't know how. Blockchain is a way where we can do that. We can not only manage and take control of that, but by helping, by giving true benefit, by the proof of action of what we do, we can be rewarded. And that's the beauty of the blockchain. That's why I'm here. And my invitation is for all of you to join, be a part of it in some way. I don't even care if you want to know it or not or whatever. Like, just get something. Like, get some crypto, go buy some Bitcoin, buy some Ethereum. I mean, I have found personally the best thing is to have nodes, right? Have the chickens that are laying the eggs rather than just to go out and buy the eggs. But absolutely, if you can't do that yet, go buy some eggs. Like, do something and watch the market. And we're here to support you. This community is amazing. Danny, thank you so much for having me on. Appreciate it, brother.
You got it. Thank you. I